Hi, thank you so much for coming in today. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing all right. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course, of course. Do you have any trouble getting here or anything like that?
I had a little bit of traffic coming in, but nothing, that was too bad. And I left a little bit early, so I was fine on time.
Well, good, good. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. You too.
So I just want to start by telling you a little bit about the mode of counseling that we'll be doing here, and just to make sure that we're on the same page and this is something that you'll be interested in. So we do cognitive behavioral therapy here at the clinic. And this is a mode of therapy that seeks out negative thought patterns that you might have that might be weighing you down or causing difficulties in your life. And we're going to use some different techniques and strategies to kind of break you out of these thought patterns and change them so you can think in ways that are more beneficial to you. So we'll look at some of your beliefs surrounding the instances that you've come to counseling for, and we'll talk through how they're affecting you on a day-to-day basis. So does that sound like something that would be good to you?
Yes, absolutely. That sounds great.
Great, great. So now I just want to hear from you. Just tell me what has brought you to counseling.
So my parents got divorced a couple years ago, and they, made an agreement and got to a agreement with alimony and everything. And now my dad has actually decided to go back to court and wants to renegotiate or essentially not pay my mom alimony anymore. Um, and I'm really just like angry and a little bit stressed out because I'm not really sure how my mom is gonna make all her bills. Um, and I just kind of want to work through just how I feel about that. It's really been a lot on me lately, and it's just something that is really upsetting to me.
Yeah, that is definitely a difficult situation, and you've taken a great first step by coming in today. So I'm glad that you're here.
Thank
So
you. I
I
appreciate
elab
it.
you said that you're angry at your dad, that you feel angry towards him. Could you just elaborate on that just a little bit? Elaborate on that anger.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I just kind of feel like he's neglecting the family, and he just kind of wants to run away from his responsibilities. And it just really makes me upset that he, doesn't really understand all the stress that this is putting on the rest of the family. Because, even though he divorced my mom, she's still our mom, and it's still, something that I just expected him, I guess, to care about a little bit more. And it just kind of feels like he doesn't anymore, which is also just sad.
Okay, okay. So I heard two main things that you're feeling in all of this for you. You're feeling kind of like neglected by your dad, like he is kind of disregarding your feelings and the family's feelings in order to pursue this thing that he wants. And it sounds
Absolutely.
like you're feeling helpless in the situation because you don't really know how you can help your mom or relieve some of her stress. Would those be right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
So I want to talk about those two things a little bit more in depth, if that's okay.
Sure.
So first, you feel kind of neglected by your dad. So what does that mean to you? How does it make you view yourself?
Um, I mean, I guess it really just means that I just expected more, I guess. I expected him to understand and care a little bit more that he is putting all this stress on us, and I feel that he is kind of just selfish at this point, and I kind of view myself as almost like he doesn't really look at me as a daughter anymore. He just kind
Mm,
of is only focused on himself and what he's doing, and he doesn't really think about us and what's going on with us. And we're supposed to be, his children. He's supposed to always think about us as children, even though we're older and we're like adults. I still expected him to, think of me as his daughter, I guess. So it kind of makes me feel like he doesn't really see me as that anymore.
yeah. So how is that affecting you day to day? Those feelings that your dad doesn't really even view you as a daughter.
I mean, it makes me sad. Um, It really makes me feel unappreciated, I guess. Everything that I've, been helping with, it makes me feel small, I guess is kind of a way I could describe it.
Okay. And with these feelings of helplessness in relieving your mom's stress, what do those mean for you, and how do those make you view yourself? Sort of the same thing.
I mean, that is just kind of really frustrating because I want to do more, I want to help her more, but I don't really know how.
Mhm.
Um, so it kind of makes me feel, I guess, just that I wish I could do more, but I'm just kind of stuck and I don't know how to do more, I guess.
Okay, so I heard that you are feeling small, you're feeling stuck. So I want to read you a list of core beliefs that most people possess. And a lot of these beliefs are not even ones that we know we possess. You might hear one, and at first you might think, hey, that doesn't apply to me at all. But when we dig a little deeper, you realize that that is something that you're experiencing. So
Okay.
these kind of could be looked at as your biggest fear. So if this core belief is true or was true, it would be absolutely devastating for you. So I'm going to read you a list of these core beliefs, and I just want you to see if there are any on this list that might apply to you or apply to how you're feeling in what we just discussed, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so there are 9 of them I'm going to read. Number 1, there's something wrong with me. Number 2, I'm unlovable. Number 3, if I love someone, they will leave me. Number 4, the world is a dangerous place. Number 5, I'm not good enough. Number 6, I'm different. I'm an outsider. Number 7, you have to be happy to be liked. Number 8, everything is my fault. And number 9, I'm special.
Um, Maybe a little bit of if I love someone, they will leave me. Um, because I do feel like, my dad is kind of just abandoning us and kind of just abandoning his family role at all. Um, I kind of recently reached out to him and said, if you're going to behave like this, I really just don't think I can talk to you. And he kind of just said, no problem, take care, which I guess was really hurtful.
Wow, yeah, I'm sorry that you had that experience with him. I can
Yeah.
understand where that feeling comes from. So you think out of those, the one that is the most present in your life would be if I love someone, they will leave me. And you
Yeah,
feel
I think
this
so.
mostly because of this one situation with your dad and the way he's kind of neglecting your feelings, or have there been
I mean,
other things that have built to this?
I just think about like, the relationship with the parent should be someone that like loves you unconditionally and that's always there for you no matter what. And I just don't really feel like that from him at all, which is just upsetting.
Of course, yeah, of
I guess
course.
maybe I'm not good enough a little bit plays into that also. Um,
Okay. Okay. So, in conversation, not necessarily just with your dad, but just in conversation in your life in general, are there certain things that you might find yourself doing or saying that you think could be a result of these feelings of not being good enough, or that people will leave you?
um, um, maybe I sometimes I'm quicker, feel like quicker to be angry with my husband when really it's not anything that he is doing. I just am kind of stressed in, the rest of my life and it's kind of like permeating into that. Maybe a little bit of that.
Okay. Okay. So, if you were having a conversation with your husband and you were stressed out all over all of this, and maybe you started to feel like you two love each other now, but if my dad left, maybe he'll leave too, would that kind of be what led to the anger?
Yeah, yeah, I think so, definitely.
Okay. So what do you think a conversation, just an open, completely honest conversation would look like for you if you didn't have these feelings that are coming from your dad weighing on you? Do you think that the conversation would be any different?
Maybe just lighter in general, and just less. I would be less maybe frustrated, I guess, when things didn't go exactly how I thought they should, or if we weren't. I felt communicating super effectively. I wouldn't be as angry. Um,
Okay, so maybe, maybe you would be, anger wouldn't be kind of your default reaction if all of this wasn't weighing so heavily onto you. Do you think that would be fair to say?
yeah, and I would be less frustrated, I guess, just in general. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, for sure. So, can we do an experiment this week? Would you be willing to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so I want to see if this belief that we've uncovered in you, kind of this not being good enough, or you love people but they're going to eventually leave you, is universal, or if there are any exceptions, just in general and in your life specifically. So, you mentioned your husband. Would he be a person that you consider to be a support system for you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so would you be willing to just have that conversation we talked about, that lighter conversation where your reaction isn't automatically anger? Would you be willing to have an open conversation with him just about what's going on and how you're feeling, and maybe even seek some advice on how you can move forward in freeing yourself from these negative thoughts?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so be open with them, ask her advice. And I think that your dad is making you feel helpless, he's making you feel unloved. But there are things in your life that you can control, and there are people who care for you very much. So you can control the way you view yourself, the way you interact with others. And you've talked about your husband being a support system. So that's definitely a person who loves you. So do you think that our plan is realistic? It's something you can do, and we're kind of going to start to combat those negative feelings that you're having?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So I'm excited to hear how this conversation goes and to see if it does anything to kind of push back against those negative beliefs in you. And so I just want to thank you so much for coming in and being so open and honest with me. And I look forward to moving forward in this with you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Take care.
Of course.